Delicious. Hi, this is Tom Spellman with Dave Wilson Nursery. Mid-April morning here in the San Joaquin Valley, beautiful, bright and sunny. We're going to do a little walk through our new backyard style orchard here and do some thinning today and take a look at some early pruning. These trees were all winter pruned, they all look good. Okay, here's our Pluot plum hedgerow here. We've got Shiro right here, we've got Flavor King Pluot right here. They're starting to grow into each other a little bit, so we've got great fruit set on either one of them. So I don't mind coming in here and doing a little bit of branch removal just so that I can have a little bit more light exposure and a little bit more air movement around this good fruit set. Again, we have some fruit. Some of this fruit is non-pollinated fruit. You can see the fruit, it's little, it's yellow. That fruit's gonna drop off the tree naturally. So just a little shake will knock some of those immature fruit off or non-pollinated fruit off. Then we want to take a look at our clusters. We've got lots of fruit on here. We've got incredible clusters. Here's a dozen or 15 fruit right here in one little space. So the tree's not possibly going to be able to hold that much fruit and ripen it up to any size. So again, look for fruit more out here towards the ends of the branches. This is where you want to thin more aggressively. If I've got a dozen fruit here, I really only want 3. So I'm going to thin pretty aggressively out here on all of these clusters. I'm looking for the small fruit. I'm looking for the deformed fruit. I'm going to take off anything that shows an issue. And if they all look good, then just take off whatever you like and leave some space. You want to make sure you have at least a couple of inches in between fruit. And you want to thin all these clusters down by at least 50%, if not more. Come back in a couple of days, do the same thing again. Make sure you've got some space on here. Make sure you've got some branch structure that's going to be able to support this fruit and not have the tree break apart when all this fruit becomes ripe. So thin early and thin aggressively. Doesn't matter if you pull off 1 or 2 that you didn't want to remove. There's plenty of fruit here. You've got lots of backup. So if you think you've removed too many, you're just going to have a few bigger fruit. Some of these branches that are 18, 24-inch long branches have lots of fruit on them. So instead of standing here picking fruit one by one, I can come back in and make one cut here. I still have 6, 7, 8, 10 fruit back here. So now I've removed a dozen or more fruit just with one cut. So you don't want to spend a whole lot of time picking fruit individually. Just come out and make some cuts. Just come out and look for long branches where you have lots of fruit and take off 2/3 of it. Take off half of it. Take off whatever you're comfortable with. But just remember that this type of work equates to larger, better quality fruit in the season when it's ripe. I know it's hard to do. I know nobody wants to do it, but if you don't do this and you've got a heavy fruit set, as the tree starts to mature and the fruit starts to gain size, the branches are just going to break apart. Couple of quick comments: mulching, fertilizing, irrigation. Remember, on this project we've got a nice thick mulch layer out here, so irrigation is minimal. This little mini orchard here has not been irrigated now by anybody at Dave Wilson Nursery for a month and a half or 2 months. We've had a couple of light rains in the meantime. I can scratch away the mulch and I still have plenty of moisture in the soil. We may not irrigate this for 2 or 3 more weeks. So don't over irrigate. The biggest reason you'll have fruit drop, premature fruit drop, and root problems during the spring season, and problems on the foliage, peach leaf curl, powdery mildew, that all has to do with irrigation. Too much water, problem. Make sure you have a good mulch layer down. Make sure you're checking and monitoring your irrigation system so you do water when the trees need it and you don't when they don't need it. Hold back as much as you can. Fertilizing. We have a low nitrogen fertilizing program here. We're using a fertilizer, humic acid based fertilizer, where the nitrogen is 25% of the amount of phosphorus and potash. We want more P and K. We want the humic acid base. We want the trace elements so that we get good root stability and plenty of fruiting and flower wood development and a minimal amount of growth. Low nitrogen, high P and K. So here's our soil with no irrigation in the past 6 or 8 weeks. Still plenty moist, still good quality. We've got this nice mulch layer working right here at the surface, so we have breakdown of the organic material right here at the surface. The roots are growing right out into this area. The trees are able to use all that moisture. They're able to take nutrients out of this area, and we have plenty of protection from the mulch. Keeps our summer soil temperatures 15 to 20 degrees cooler than unmulched soil. makes better use of our irrigation water by at least 50%, creates that bioactive area in the soil where you have the mycorrhizal activity, the earthworms, all the beneficial insects and fungi are working to your advantage. And it also prevents the germination of most weed seeds. Make sure you're mulching. These are our two low cuts, Santa Rosa Plum, which I just took the top out of, Cotton Candy Apium, one of my favorite varieties, and I'm going to do the same thing here. So it's early in the season, you know, we're just doing some early work. I'm not going to do a whole lot of aggressive work. I'm just going to check size. So I'm just looking for vigorous growth. I'm not going to tip every branch. I'm just going to take vigor back a little bit so that the secondary growth can come out, and in the summer after the crop's harvested, we'll come back in and hit it again. So when you're looking for hard prune material like this, you want to maintain size. 2 or 3 prunings through the summer season to maintain size and manageability is not out of line. But it's early in the season, it's only the middle of April, and here we are doing our first cut already. But it's a wonderful tree, it's got a great fruit set on it, we've thinned it early, the fruit's well spaced, so I want to encourage that air movement and that light availability so that all the fruit in the center of the tree has an opportunity to get size, get character, get color, and build flavor from that light exposure. So this is just as important for size control as it is for good quality fruit in the center of the tree. Like I said, I'm not looking to check every tip. I'm not going to work on every branch. I'm just looking for vigor. I'm just looking for what comes up above my eye level, and I'm going to tip that a little bit, and then I'm going to walk away from it for the rest of the season until after fruit harvest. There we go. Probably 1 minute, 1 minute and a half, we're done. So in closing, I want you to take into consideration the fact that you can grow any fruit tree in any form that works for you. One of the reasons that we've done this project is to show a spellured apium, a spellured plum, a spellured pomegranate, hedgerows of different types of fruit trees, multiple plantings of any types of fruit trees. You have to remember that you're the one that's in charge. You need to grow varieties in your space that fit your landscape needs, your landscape style, the function that you want to create, the fruit, the flowers, the fall colors, all those things are really secondary to making those trees fit your landscape purpose. So you can do anything you want with any fruit tree and be successful for it. Be creative, have fun with it.